Hi guys, welcome to RTR 68 in France. Today a little word about the T-Magic B8ER 6s version. You can get this buggy in 4 or in 6s. It's the same platform. Difference between the two is the 4S becomes a 68mm can motor with 2500 kV, having quick run blockade to 100 amps and 4S with 5 function to change for manage the motor. In the 6S version you get the 74mm motor with 2250 kV and the quick run with 150 amps and 6S still with 5 functions. On both you get the 60 kg servo from, now it's rebranded from themselves. In the earlier kit you get the Xerox waterproof servo, who not was a really good servo. Many of them had died on the way. The servo is also not so super fast, but he do the job. It will be okay to a beginner or something who just drives around for fun. Clearly if you go on a track, this servo will be too slow. I only can tell you, take the 6S even if you only drive it in 4S. The price difference is not so high between the two, and the longer motor with less kV is for me on a better place in such heavyweight buggy. You get here in 4S 3.9 kilograms, so such around for 50 kilograms more or less. In 6S you go to 4 kilograms or a little bit more. That's on the higher limit from 1/8 kg buggies. It's clearly away from the Techno EB84, who is only 2.2 kilograms. I know this is not the original body from the T-Magic, but I really like the look from this buggy with this body on the top. But I will show you the original body, because between 4 and 6s is a little difference on the body. It's a funny difference, it's not a big difference. Hi my love. My wife says you hello, guys. So, this is the original body from the 6s. To put this body on the top from this buggy, that you can use 2 3S hard case top, one of each. What I really not like, because the second battery, if you put it on the top to another, has nothing who stops the battery to go in the front if you crash. For put 3 3S here top on top of the other, I think this battery tray had to be here a little bit higher, have a corner in the front to stop the batteries to go out. I drive personally 4S or 6S packs, not 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and also stuff. I still put 2 wires here, so because the driver who get this car drives this 2 battery, and I make him also a loop. You become DSC with 2 XT90 connectors but no loop. So think on it, if you buy one, if you drive only 1 battery, or you solder 1 plug, or you put yourself a loop on the second connector. With this body on, you get from T-Magic 2 parts here to hire the body. This part is aluminium. It's just for a cool look, brings nothing. Because, and this is the only difference between the body from the 4 and 6S, the 4S but is cut it out on the line. This is the same body than the old 4S, just new colors. And the 6S version is not cut it out, so it's higher, and the body pops here. So it looks high for a 1/8 kg standard buggy, but personally I like it. I think it's more like a bulldog, give him a little bit more a punchy look. Clearly it's not I drive it with a 6S pack. You don't need to have the body so high. You can go down without any problem with the body, like we done here with the this is an Kyosho MP9 body. You see, fits perfectly because you do the hole in the body. So, but let's talk technical. Motor Surpass or Goul or C something brand do the job. These are not the best motor, but they now are on a point where we can say the motor holds. The first version from these motors was a mess, and many people destroyed the rotors from the motor, or we even see many times on our brands using this motor that the wires here who goes down the motor was too close to the rotor, and the rotor used the wire up until you have contact, and then bye bye motor. So now they have other wires going out. The first version had the hard wires going out like Traxxas does here, directly from the motor, go out with the wiring, not soldered cables on the wire in the motor. That's the better way, I think. I prefer this one. I say quick run ESC, 60 kg Metal Gear servo, Metal Gear with soft metal, so take care. If you tighten too much the servo saver, you clearly will destroy the gears anyway. Negative point, the flimsy little servo horn here, because T-Magic makes alloy servo horn. You get it on the E6 or on the E5 RTR or something, so I don't understand why they not put it here in the truck, because many people had issue with this. It's not a big issue, it's really fast change, but I think this is a little bit something we should have straight out from the box. You have really long shocks, you'll not have big oil volume shocks, you know, the last times in buggy world. We begin with 40mm shocks, then it will be 50, 60, 70, now it's 19. Where would they stop? Because they say with more oil you have less temp issue, you have more endurance, but the runs here in Europe, the runs goes about 10 minutes in the championships. So in 10 minutes that will be an issue if you have small or bigger shocks. And you will see, and sometimes they will go down again to smaller shocks and tell us it's for weight economy. Same thing with the differential. This one has what is usual and oil volume in the differential for a 1/8 kg buggy. The new buggy comes with big differential with many more oil in, for more cooling, for more this or more that, but how I say, in 10 minutes it's not will be an issue for the oil in there, especially in the front or rear cell. You have no air going through, so you have zero cooling. In the center I can understand there is some air flowing around, but until put a big plastic corp with more oil, you can put a stamped size alloy body to the center diff. You can put some little ribs on it to improve the cooling. That's something important for us, for bashers, because we drive in January I put my setup so I can drive 20 minutes with a battery pack for 5000. If I put an 8000 I go to half hour, so there I have to check the temperature in the differential, but not on a competition, on a standard competition. If it's an endurance competition, okay, I will understand. Shock towers, rear chassis brace, front top plate, Ackerman plate, chassis plate are 6061 aluminium, just stamped. It's stamped aluminium, the chassis is just hardened. Also the shock towers, it's heavier than better alloy, but still do the same job. It is an RTR for begin on a track or for drive for fun outside. It's not designed for hard bash, but you do the job. What you can have at issue if you crash the car is to bend the front shock tower, but many has that. You can get from T-Magic, because they really love alloy option. You can have the front here upper arm in 7075 aluminium, the shock towers, the chassis brace in the front, maybe in the rear or not, because there is already an alloy brace. It's easy done, but that's really a smart move from T-Magic to make only that with a just stamped plate. You still have two M3 screws in the back here, and because of the height of the stuff, it's light and it's rigid. No need to get something else. You have 5 CVD on this truck, on this buggy, it's not a truck, and 1 dog board in the rear, but it's an alloy dog board. Original out from the box, the last versions with these new motors here becomes 10,000 K in the front, or 7 in the front, 10 in the middle, and a little bit less rear, about 1,000 I guess. I will check out in the manual in a few minutes. I put here 50K weight oil or 70K CST oil in the front, 50 CST oil or 30 weight oil approximately. I will not say it's exactly that, but it's in this direction, so you will understand when I drive why the car handles different that yours if you have one and you drive it RTR. I let the rear oil stock here. The older version gets DIN plug and have only grease in the differential or really less oil. This is not the case from the newer version. We was talking about optional aluminium before. You can get also the arm holder and 7075, the Ackerman plate, the top plate with carbon. You have an over here front upper arm pin holder which when reinforced with alloy. But I had one back in the time from this truck and I had no issue with this car. I really absolutely break nothing on this truck. What can happen if you rip too much on the top or have a hard hit, you can crack this part, but you can get it apart like by Hobau or many other stuffs. And you will see then when we're talking about the set, the T-Magic set has new shock caps with an alloy plate, so you can take the stuff from the set to put here, and it's not just the only thing. We will compare it. I already have done it in French and German, but I will also do it in English. I like this system. You have many ways to change the angle from the upper arms. You can change shock angles here. I love also the fact that the shock is on top, not just before or in the middle from the A-arms. So if you hit something, you hit here and the shock becomes no hit. You have alloy parts here on the wheels, but it's just also stamped alloy, but make the job, it's clear. You have really big fat CVD front and rear, and all the truck has standard 60.8.5 millimeters bearing in the air, all water sealed, and from the quality they are okay. Now, not the best bearing, but they are okay. Also the screws are from good quality. You not have here like on Arma a really fast rusty car after running it. I know Arma Freak will flip out now, but it's a fact. Armas has issues with differential with the time if you not change many times the oil or take care of it, and after 1 or 2 pass to the water, an Arma will be really fast rusty. You get rusty CVD, rusty screws, rusty counterstrunk, you get rusty even springs on Armas. Not a big issue because we love Arma. I also love Arma. I have Armas here, but for that price, if you take the 4S version here in Europe, you will pay about 320 euros. That's the price from an Arma Granite 3S or a Big Rock 3S. For the same price you get this one, which is a real 1/8 keel buggy with 4S power. Will be way better, because if you take this you can put pickup body on the top, you can put the new Proline tires with the 70mm hubs and make this buggy look like a little small monster truck like the Arma Granite for the same price. Clearly it's not the same weight. You have 3 kilograms for 3S, here you have 4 kilograms for 4S, but you will have the same power, but a really tough truck. I don't say don't buy the Granite or the Nero. I love these trucks too, I will get one. Differential has not stamped steel gears, they are machined gear steels. Center diffs has a stamped cold pressed steel gear, but this allows the truck to be really silent. You have a really nice noise, not like same thing. Armor is really noisy and transmission, Oba also the T-Magic is not so noisy. You can get here also machined a lightweight gear for the main gear on the center diffs. Battery tray, ESC tray works. It's really something that many brands do. Battery tray, ESC a little bit just on the back, a little bit in there on the car. Like on many buggy or truggies we designed for go on the track, standard battery tray 140mm unit can put big batteries in there. What's pretty cool from T-Magic, there's something our brands never done or never think about it. Many brands had the receiver box here with the servo, so that uses place that make a little trap for the gravel to go in the pinion or some stuff, and they put here, where is place enough, a receiver box. It's big enough to put each receiver you can have, even the old 75 MHz old style, old school from the 90s receiver. It's not a problem. It's not a waterproof box. You have a hole under there for go within the cable. You would have no joint in the top. So think on it. You can drive in water. It's not an issue, but it's clear if you bath the car, if the water goes up this limit, you will have water in the receiver box. But in all other case, you not will have issue with water in there, because even if it's not waterproof, it's really good protected. ESC from Hobbywing, absolutely no problem with water, it's clear. You can on this car change the rear wheel angle with something really specific to this car. I never see this on another car. Don't tell here that's not exist, but I never see it. They have done this. You can here change the angle from the rear wheels, left and right separately, without changing here something on the arms. And that's pretty cool. So, now we're gonna take the box from this car. So again, we can check out the other stuffs. You become the old box. From the old version, they just put a sticker on the top and on the side to show the difference with the new version. So take care if you're gonna buy one, that you get the good car, the car you want, and not something other. You can get a 4S roller from the old version from this car, but it's basically the same, just have over tires. Then you must know the old 4S version with these knob tires had bad tires. The foam was too soft. The tire really this was fast destroy. How I said before, the servo was also bad. If you take the roller, you will have the old tires on it, so take care. This 6S has new tires. I don't know if the compound is something different, but it's clearly that the foam in there is way better. I drive this car 4S, I make the front tire balloons to check it. In 4S you have just a little bit ballooning, but no more. It's clear in 6S, it will balloons way more, so take care. Think about it to change the center diff oil. If you don't do it, absolutely put a hole here in the tire so the air who goes in the wheel can go out to not explode. That's really important to not destroy your tires if you drive hard in 6s. And that's count on many buggy and tires. On the RTR you become this for use your car. Has a cheap look, has a cheap feeling, but you have a little rubber here. That's good. The old version had a plastic part here around. And I love this because you have a good range. You can change, it's clear, the servo way, inverted the servo. You have the dual rate here on the top from the wheel, which logic. And you can also trim the throttle and the direction. That's absolutely normal here, but that's not all. If you go when the I have no battery if you put the power on, if you go right with the steering, you see here it's not just only the trim you have left and right, but you have also plus or minus for steering. So if you go right and press minus, you will set the endpoint adjustment for the right side. Plus minus, you can have the left side, and you also have the same on throttle. But take care, never have the car powered on when you will drop down the power for give the truck a key or something. You can do it reverse. You can hit the throttle, you can go here down to minus to set the power to 0. Then you can put the power on the truck, then you hit the throttle, you will see that the car don't move, and then you can here with that plus here step up the speed from the car at the speed you want for the key, 10, 20, 30 kilometers an hour or something. It's not an issue. If you want to do it still with powered on car, to go down, put it in the air, or put the tires away, but take care. You also that way can increase or decrease the brake power. If you think the car brakes too hard and you not will just take it slow on your throttle with your finger, you can put the power from the brake down. Think on it also on many ESC. This is a general thing. If you have the brake power set up on 50% on the ESC, when you go lower than 50% on the endpoint adjustment, in many cases you will lose the reverse. The car still brakes, but the ESC no more find the reverse. You have to be more than 50% on the EPA here to get still the reverse. But this is general on many cars. Then, the most difference between this car and all other is that they use the system from the 1/10 scale on-road to get on the differential. You not have to put out the rear here from the truck like an Hobau or other trucks. You don't have a smart fast access like Arma or competition buggy to just have 4 screws here. You can put the top away to get on the differential, but it's also easy. You only have to put away in the back the 2 screws here from the chassis brace. Then you have 6 screws, and you get on the 6 screws from the top, 2 screws from the shocks, and you can lift up the cell. The cell is split in 2 in the highness. In front it's the same, it's a little bit easier because to have the 2 screws here from the chassis brace on the top, the 2 screws here, 6 screws here, the 2 shock screws, and also same, you can put it up and you can take the diff out and the gear. So really easy way to maintenance. Just the center diff is a little bit longer. You have to put away all 4 screws here in the back. It's also something a little bit funny. Most of the car has 4mm screws for hold the motor. Here only M3. 4 times it's enough, it's not an issue. Then you have 4 to put away in the top to get to the differential when you have all this motor and differential parts away from the truck. There's also something different on the set. Originally it's a funny thing, you get here an M3 screw, just screw it in, and tie wrap on the screw to the cable, the wire. It's really looked like a Chechen system. On the set they also changed the template because of that. I think personally that they just will sail away all the production who they have from the B8ER, and you will see on the set there are some different new solution, and maybe I think personally that they will use what they have done on the set for make the next generation of B8ER. You have also here the system with the plastic parts to improve to right higher the shock compression. Many people don't like it. I like both. I like this system, the clip system. I like the screw, because in each case it works. You can improve the compression from the shock springs. This system is easier, it's faster, and it's preciser, because you always have exactly the same compression left and right. The fact is that the screw system, you have not to go on the field with your clips, but on the screw system, if you have mud and dust in, you have to take care to not destroy the thread. So this is the plus point from this system. It's faster, it's every time equal left and right, and it's no matter if it's dirt or not on the shocks. The other system, you have no clips to bring with you, you have no change to lose, no change for loser clips, and you can exactly more precise change the shock spring rate, not the rate, sorry, but the compression. Did I forget something? I think not. The colors, you can get a blue body, you can get an orange body, and maybe some other stuff also in the time now we are talking together. Like always with T-Magic, you become something to put away the tires. You also get the sticker sheet for the wing, you get the clips for the compression from the springs, and you get the hop-up sheet and also the manual. So we're gonna first talk about the manual. Easy done, it's clear, just black and white, it's way enough. I love X-ray manual or something with a lot of color, cool paper. Okay, but let's make the same job, that's a fact. Here they tell you to take care about steering angle, how to use the transmitter, security, and all the user stuff you have here. They also tell you to take the motor temp at 90 degrees Celsius, not higher. Also the battery has not to exceed 60 degrees. You have the 5-point for change the setup from the SE. Stock it comes with a cutoff at 3 volts, that's bad. I really the most of the people runs 2.2 or 3.4. I only can tell you go to 3.4. It's better to drive 1 or 2 minutes less, but allow the battery to live way longer. You can change the setup from the SE with the little button who is on the SE, but it's really faster with the programming card. But for 5 function, it is really useful to get the card. It's so fast change this function. That's on you. You have a precise way to mount or put the car in parts. You have all the reference. What I really am not a freak of is that every time you have screws, you have only a reference. So you have a beginner has to go here back in the manual to check what is the size from the screw, but the size is in the reference here by T-Magic. If you look at, you have here a little 126, then you have 312, and this means this is a 3mm 12mm diameter screw with 12mm long. All you have to check is the head, if it's a bottom head, if it's a flat head or something other. And here you see the way to get to the differential, you really have to put just away the top plate, and so you get to the whole stuff here. Then the interesting part, but it's costful by Team Magic. This is the old Forest version. This buggy is also available in Nitro for those who loves Nitro. So you have different servo springs to get in the truck. You have different sway bars, front and rear. What is cool is that the whole sway bar has a color on it, so you really fast see what bar you have in the truck. Not have to check the little sticker on it or go to check the stiffness. The color is really also helpful in the time. You get different spring rates, front and rear. You get machined bevel gears who are normally already in. That's right, it's something I not checked. I have it in the hand, and maybe I say something wrong, and you will not have the machined bevel gear stock RTR in the truck. That's something I will check. But this is the old manual, so that's something also a little bit bad by Team Magic. Many times the manual is not at the point from the truck. You get the first manual they have done at the beginning, and then you have not the real update from the cars. So I will check this. I will check this if I have to open one again to check what I have here in the car, because in optional tile parts you have it here. The front part, how I say, the arm holder with the alloy reinforcement, the carbon chassis brace in the front, machined hubs, because here, how I say, you get the stamped hubs, and this is just some downgrade alloy. It's not machined. And this is the absolute overkill for a buggy. You can have machined gears in 29.9. That's what you get in the HPI Savage Flux or in the Hobao Hyper MT. These are really big fat tools for a differential. It's overkill for a buggy. Take care, if you put that one in your buggy, you have to go down here on the main gear. You have to put the motor pinion gear down because you increase the speed from the car, so the motor will get higher in temperature. Also the car will be way faster. It's something that will be cool for something you want to make a speed run with this car. Putting 91.9 here, and this motor with the biggest pinion you can get, because it's not the bigger pinion you can get. You have here stock a 19 pinion tooth. In the beginning I think it was too much, but in 4S you get a 70 km/h out from the box. With 4S is okay. With 6S it tops at 110 on the box. I not check it, but seems to be okay this way, and you can go here easy to 25 or more on the motor pinion. You can have the front and rear 70-75 shock towers, caster block, rear hubs, and this is something I think negative on this car, but for the price, for 220 euros, it will be okay. But original, you get the old here axle with E-clips, and that's something really I not like, because you can lose it when gravel goes to, not here but here, you can lose the clips with the gravel, so you can lose the axle. That's something happens many times to the arrivals back in the 90s or 2000, because that was also usual at that time. You can get screws to replace it, stainless screws, that's cool. And something you will never see from a brand for a buggy from themselves, you can get the arms. You can get alloy arms, CNC machined for your buggy. That's something you only find from aftermarket brands. For all other buggies on the market, Team Magic do it themselves. The shock, of course, big bores with threaded parts with other springs. Take care, These springs here are for the RTR version, for this truck, and here you have other bigger shops with threaded body, and you have also separately different springs for it. The upper arms and the alloy, the machined gear I talked before, all the machined parts for the arm holder, chassis brace, you can get front and even the rear anytime. Anyway, you get the rear chassis brace 7075. Also, that's something you only find on the Hobao Hyper 7 and the ST Pro. You have another part under the differential to connect the front and rear chassis brace. That means you have a really mega super tough chassis who not will bend anymore. You have zero flex with this. What's strange is with all this option you not find a 7075 chassis plate. I will talk them about. For the nitro driver you get also over brake discs, over clutches, over brake pads and over filters. I love to drive this buggy. It's precise, it's heavy for if you go to competition it will be a little bit heavy, but you can maybe do it a little bit lighter. How I say in 4S you are by 3.8, that's also the weight from the SOB 3.1 with 4S. In other cars, when you use 74mm motors, it's clear not can compare it with the two super lightweights, Techno ET84 EB 48.3, who's really super light, and the old Hobao Hyperstar, who is also super light with 3.4. If you have one, tell me about it. What happens to you? Did you give it away? Did you hate it? Did you love it? I want to know anything and everything. But don't forget, if you are not happy with the car, if you have many breakdowns, don't forget to tell you how you drive the cars. If you use the car to send it in the air like we do with other buggies, or if you even drive like a grandma, super easy with, that's a big difference on the wear and the breakdowns from this type of buggies. See you soon, guys. Bye. No, otherwise. See you soon, guys. Bye. I already talked too much. Have a nice day.